What's going on? It's Connor from the Dolphins Dive. In today's preview day, you know the deal. Dolphins Chargers this Sunday night in prime time. So without further ado, we're gonna hop right into the video. Before we get to the preview, I'm just gonna shout out my merch shop, thedolphinsdive.com. You can get Mike McDaniel McLovin mugs, shirts, t-shirts. We got some Tua merch, Jalen Waddle merch, as well as Javon Holland. Check out the site; it would mean a lot to me. And you can use code HOLIDAYS to get 10% off everything on the site. So without further ado, we'll get right into the breakdown. You guys know how we do it. Dolphins offense versus Chargers defense first. Dolphins offense is ranked 8th in points per game. Chargers defense is 30th. So that goes to show the discrepancy. The Chargers defense has been pretty awful this entire season. Dolphins are 2nd in passing yards per game. Chargers defense is 19th in passing yards allowed. Dolphins are 28th in rushing yards per game. But the Chargers are even worse at 29th in rushing yards allowed. So that's a lot to process, but as you can see by the numbers, the Dolphins are better in literally every single area. So our offense has the advantage over the Chargers defense. And I'd probably say it's the same on the other side as well, but in terms of offense having it over the defense. But let's get into the offensive keys of the game. Number one, you saw the numbers, but the first thing, establish the run. Obviously, the Dolphins are arguably a top 3 passing offense to the entire league. But you guys know how the Shanahan system works. It does go through the run game. Obviously, you can still play action pass without being able to establish the run, but it just makes it that much better if you are able to establish the run, especially against a bad rushing defense in the Chargers. I think that's something the Dolphins are going to look to exploit, especially after last week where we didn't run the ball at all well. And I think they probably want to take some ease off of Tua. But I also do think Tua's going to have a big game. So establish the run. And the Dolphins have had success against some of the worst run defenses. The Texans we ran all over, as well as another team I'm blanking on currently. But we usually do have success against defenses that aren't that good against stopping the run. And the Chargers obviously are not one of them. Number 2, play action pass. This has kind of been our memo all year. Play action pass. Tua's been very good at it, as well as RPO. But play action pass gets linebackers to bite, and we like to throw and layer it over top of them. And that was part of the reason why we struggled so much last week is the linebackers weren't biting as much, and even if they did bite, that's arguably the best linebacker core in all football with Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, and Azeez Al-Shir, or however you pronounce his name. So the Chargers linebacker core, they've got some names. I don't know who's fully healthy for them. I think Kenneth Murray. Not Kenneth Walker. He's on my fantasy team. Kenneth Murray. I think he's questionable, or he might be playing. I'm not sure if Drew Tranquill's fully healthy. I know he's had some injuries in the past. But still, this isn't a linebacker core like we saw last week. The play action pass should work. Get it to the players in space. Number 3, protect Tua. With the offensive line, but also getting the ball out quick. Tua got hit a lot last week, hence the ankle injury. We want to protect Tua at all costs. Armstead's questionable. Liam Eichenberg might return. So there's a lot of question marks on the O-line. So do whatever you can. Scheme it up so that we get the ball out quick. And Tua is just naturally good at that as well. I forgot to mention this at the top, too. The whole Tua versus Herbert show. That's going to have a lot of people talking. Twitter's going to be up in flames, and it's going to be pretty funny to see everybody say shit. I'll address that later when we're talking about Justin Herbert, but we're still on the defense. So the defensive players to watch for the Chargers, I only have 2 people here. Khalil Mack, obviously, his name speaks for itself. He's an elite edge rusher. I haven't heard his name too much this year, but it's still Khalil Mack, especially if we don't have Armstead. He's probably going to have a field day. And then the last person I got here is Derwin James. Once again, he's an X factor of their defense. He's super dynamic. He can play the run, play the pass. They throw him in the box a lot. He can play man-to-man on basically anybody on the team, probably aside from Tyreek and probably Waddle as well. But he's just a tremendous player as well. There's some other names I could have thrown on there and some names that are kind of stand out to me. But it's just, I can't tell. I didn't get to watch too much Chargers film, so I feel like they've had a lot of guys who've been up and down, up and down. Like another guy I might have listed here was Bryce Callahan. But I don't think the other corner hasn't been too hot. Nazir Adderley, I know the name. I don't know how well he's been doing either. So I just went with their big superstars there. Those are ballers. They could wreck the game. So make sure you prevent that from happening. So like I said, I think the Dolphins offense has a clear edge over the Chargers defense. And now Chargers offense versus Dolphins defense. So the Chargers offense is 14th in points per game. Dolphins defense is 25th. Chargers are 6th in passing yards per game. Dolphins are 21st in passing yards allowed. Chargers are 31st in rushing yards per game. Dolphins are 9th in rushing yards allowed. So the numbers show the Chargers offensively are going to be better than the Dolphins aside from running the football. Clearly, they're the 31st in rushing yards per game. So, like I said, I think this is going to be an offensive game, especially Sunday night. I just think that it's going to be more of a shootout rather than like a one-sided kind of affair. With that said, I do think the Dolphins defense is better than the Chargers defense. So ultimately, I do think we're the more well-rounded team than the Chargers, but hey, we'll see on Sunday. So the first key of the game for the defense, prevent the big plays. And I say this because the Chargers are more of a dink and dunk kind of team. I think I'm blanking on his name, but they're OCs from the Saints tree. And they're kind of more of a West Coast, get the ball out quick, short underneath routes. And obviously, we all know Herbert can make big plays, but prevent that from happening, especially with the weapons they have. Mike Williams is going to be back. He's a big jump ball guy, throw it up one-on-one, let him make a play. So that's what I mean when I'm referring to prevent the big plays, is prevent those from happening, unnecessary explosive plays, because they don't go for it if it's not there. So make sure you take care of that first. Let them think and dunk and try and beat us that way. Number 2, pressure Herbert and keep him in the pocket. Kind of two-sided affair, but when Herbert gets out of the pocket is when he makes a lot of his plays downfield and whatnot. Keep him contained in the pocket and also pressure him. Not a lot of quarterbacks are very, very good against the blitz. Herbert, obviously, he makes plays against the blitz, but I feel like your best way of making him struggle, keeping him in the pocket and rattling him, hitting him, getting pressure on him. You know the deal. And last but not least, contain Austin Eckler. And the reason I don't say stop the run or stop Austin Eckler is just because Austin Eckler is a freak. He's, I think, 3rd in the entire league in receptions. He's their check down god. So they love just feeding him quick passes and letting him make plays. And that's also just contain him. Do not let him go for explosive plays. He's going to get his catches. He's going to get his carries, but don't let him go for big explosive plays because he's more than capable. He's an absolute stud. Nothing but love for Austin Eckler. Dude's a beast. So in terms of players to watch, the Chargers have a lot more than their defense offensively. Justin Herbert, obviously, there's a lot of beef between Dolphins and Chargers fans on, Tua versus Herbert, just based off how they were drafted. Listen, Justin Herbert's a stud. I don't know, Dolphins fans like to shit on him, and I understand. There's been a lot of hate on Tua, and they take that out by taking it out on the people that are hating on him. Justin Herbert's a stud. Is he a perfect quarterback? No. Is he better than Tua? I'm not going to say that. Not going to say it. There's two sides of the fence. I'm a Tua fan. Justin Herbert has more talent. Tua's been more steady. He's not going to really lose the game for you. So take that as you will. I'm sure there'll be a debate in the comments. Austin Eckler already went over him. He gets fed the rock in the passing game, and he's their main runner in the run game as well. Can get an explosive play whenever. Mike Williams, like I said, he's not going to really beat you with routes over the middle. He's more of a run a 9-ball, run a go route, and throw it up and let him catch it over you. And it happens because Mike Williams is a stud. Keenan Allen, we all know Keenan Allen. Dude routes up everybody over the intermediate part of the field, especially against probably Kader Kohu, who's going to be on him. He's probably going to have a big day. We'll see, though. Keenan Allen's a stud, though. Got to watch out for him. Last guy I got on here is Gerald Everett, their tight end. He's been very, very good. So I would expect him to make some plays as well. So that's someone that we got to look out for. But the Dolphins' defense is a lot different than before. We're mainly a man team. Previous years, now we're in zone. So it's kind of just letting them not sit down in the zones and making sure you get to them quickly. So that's that. I didn't write my prediction, so I'm going to have to hit it off the cuff. I know who I have winning. I just got to think of the score. So I'm going to have the Dolphins win. Monday or Sunday Night Football. It's going to be more of a shootout. I'm going to say Dolphins win 38-31. Sunday night. The Dolphins are 8-4 in the season. I'm 9-3 on predictions. So my predictions have been more right than wrong. So we like to see it. Hopefully that carries over. Comment your score prediction down below. And I appreciate anyone for watching. It means a shit ton to me. And until next time, I'll catch y'all.